Today in Christina's court.
911, do you have an emergency?
Pit bull for about the fifth time just chased me and my dog inside my house. He's very vicious. He growls his teeth. He charges you.
Okay, was anybody hurt, sir?
No, but I just killed the dog.
A pit bull named Capone, a friendly, playful mutt, or a vicious dog on the loose. Post-mortem on a pit bull.
This dog was fed out of a bottle, slept in our bed.
He was a very playful dog. He never snapped at anybody, never snapped at any other dog. He's a very good dog, you know, he's well trained. He was like a little boy to me.
I shot him twice in the head and he stood there and looked at me.
What'd you next?
I shot him 3 times right there and he died.
You shot him 5 times. You murdered that dog.
Enter Christina's court. Witness a judge who's direct and fair. A judge with a deep passion for the law and ordinary people. Judge Cristina Perez. She takes the law into her own heart. 40-year-old waitress Rhonda Sabah is suing her son Alan Sada's neighbor for shooting and killing their beloved family pet. She's suing him for $1,901. 40-year-old Lewis Cross says the plaintiff's pit bull had been loose in the neighborhood several times and had charged him, so he wasn't going to take any chances on someone getting hurt by the dog.
All parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you, Bernard. So, this case is about a dog, your dog Capone, that your neighbor shot and killed.
Yes, ma'am.
You admit it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why don't you tell me a little bit about Capone?
I got him when he was 3 weeks old because his mother had kind of quit feeding him. So I took him as a baby and fed him through a bottle. So I raised the dog. He was a really good dog. I've trained him. He's been around people his whole life. I take him to the lake about every day.
So
you know.
has he ever had problems with any other dogs?
No, ma'am.
Dog fights?
Never.
Has he ever had problems with people, children?
Never.
Has anybody complained to you that your dog was aggressive?
No, ma'am. He's never snapped at anybody, never snapped at any other dog. He's a very good dog, you know, he's well trained. He was like a little boy to me.
But any complaints against this dog?
None.
Never.
Filed with animal control?
Not one.
The
Right.
dog ever on you?
No, never.
Ever try to bite you?
No.
Any members of the
Judge
family?
Cristina, this dog was fed out of a bottle, slept in our bed, was an indoor dog, not an outdoor dog. The only time he became an outdoor dog is when he took him to his place for the last 2 months of his life. And he left him outside that day for a reason, because he was out of town. Otherwise, he was in the house with us at all times.
So what's this video
This
of?
is a movie of him playing in my backyard with
who-
my roommate and some friends.
He had built him a rope with knots on it so he can jump and swing and play.
Okay,
He was a
so
very playful dog. Like, he never tried to attack anybody. Like I said, he would just sit there and have...
did you get him trained by anybody except for you, or
And there's
that's him?
That's him playing with my roommate's dog.
Did they have any problem?
Not one.
Interesting. So did you guys ever meet personally?
I met him personally probably 3 to 4 times.
Is that correct, Alan?
Yes, or
3 to 4
about
times.
2 to 3 times, actually, because the first time I met him, I was walking down the street looking for my dog. And
That was out.
That was out.
Yes.
That was running loose.
we were barbecuing.
I helped him look and find the dog
How many
That
times?
is
several
not true,
times.
One
sir.
time. It happened
How-
one time.
Let me ask, how many times did you go out and find the dog?
at least 2 or 3 times. At
Why
least.
did you help them
not
find a
true.
dog?
Because it's a pit bull, and I was trying to help, keep the neighborhood somewhat
But do you
safe.
believe all pit bulls are dangerous?
I don't.
So why was this one dangerous? Tell me.
When it got out, it acted like a pit bull. I mean, I had
What does a pit bull
small-
act like?
In this case, it was aggressive. It was growling, showing its teeth.
It always growled at somebody?
We've got affidavits from my neighbors.
Yeah, we're gonna
that
go through
charged
affidavits.
their fence. It charged their dogs.
Yeah, we'll go through that. So how many times did he help you find the dog?
Not one time.
How many times? Because in your statement, you say you brought the dog back to their house about 4 to 5 times.
Total, yes. There was
So
twice.
if he brought him back 4 to 5 times,
Pretty acquainted with the dog by
yeah,
then.
that means the dog must have
ma'am.
known you.
They're looking for the dog on 2 separate occasions, and I went with them to help them find the
The
dog.
dog was never lost
was-
to be looked for.
One
The dog
second.
was loose down the street and ran back to Alan.
Ma'am, they came by
Rhonda,
my house
Rhonda.
asking where the dog was
Sir,
at.
I don't
That's-
think anyone
that's
wants to
lost.
step on your property.
Okay, now why didn't you address, Ellen, the problem of your dog being out?
And I did. I told my roommates, I was like, keep the gate, because we have a driveway where you drive in and you close a privacy gate. So I have a driveway past my gate, and we would close the gate nearly every time we would come in with a car, you know? So my dog couldn't get out. So I would leave my dog in the backyard and we would play. But at some occasions, we'd forget to close it and somebody would leave the door open and he would run to the backyard and just make his way out the front yard. And he would run around people's yards, but there's 3 neighbors on the block that didn't like my dog. He's one of them, his neighbor across the street, and the guy about 4 houses down on the corner.
Why do you say they didn't like your dog? What happened?
Because they've all came up to me or he has told me that they don't like your dog.
So, but did you ever approach him specifically?
Yes, ma'am. And the last time I approached him, I met him in the middle of the street, and I said, listen, this is the last time I'm coming to you about your pit bull in my yard. I am going to shoot it.
If you don't control your dog, I'm going to shoot it?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because it was a vicious dog. It was
Oh, now
aggressive.
it was vicious. What do you do for a living, Louis?
I own an excavation business.
What do you do for hobbies?
Fish,
Fish?
hunt,
Hunt? What do you hunt?
deer, dove.
Dogs.
Coming up in Christina's court.
911, do you have an emergency?
Pit bull for about the 5th time just chased me and my dog inside my house. He's very vicious. He growls his teeth. He charges you.
Okay, was anybody hurt, sir?
No, but I just killed the dog.
If you'd like to contact Christina's court, call toll-free 1-800-901-7039 or log on to christinascourt.com. In Christina's court, a dog is shot and killed while running loose in a neighborhood. Playful family pet or vicious pit bull? A post-mortem.
How come it never bit anybody if it was vicious? Must have
Because it
been a
wasn't
really
vicious.
slow
It was
animal.
a friendly, loving dog.
Ma'am, I wasn't in the, I'm not going to wait until it bites me to react.
But you said it was vicious.
I know the dog is vicious.
Knowing a
It's-
pit bull,
it's
But how is it
aggressive.
It's gonna
vicious?
bite you before you get a
Vicious,
chance to do anything.
aggressive, I guess is the right word I need to use.
Give me descriptions of aggressiveness. I need to understand.
If it's showing its teeth and it's taking steps towards you and trying to get it out of there, trying to shoo it off, throwing rocks.
And you're throwing rocks at it.
I've threw rocks at it on several occasions, try to get it out of my yard.
So, how many times did you call animal control and report the dog without a leash?
I called them one time and they said there has to be an instance of a bite or.
But there was an instance. He growled at you and he lunged at you and he showed his teeth. And you threw rocks at him.
Yes, but they didn't come out and do anything about the dog.
They didn't.
No, ma'am.
So that was the only, did you call him again?
No, I didn't because the result would be the same. It actually has to bite somebody before they come out.
It's not true. I've had animals in my yard that I've called animal patrol on They'd come as soon as you call them. They would be there quicker than the police usually
If you're
show up.
calling animal control on dogs that are running loose, then you should know that yours can't run loose.
Okay, but I didn't call it on dogs. I called
Okay,
it on
so
No,
then what
exactly,
happened?
you're
At least
exactly
you did
right.
right.
It's not
I understand
the
you go to
dog's
San
problem.
Antonio.
It's
You
your
took the law in your own
responsibility to
hand.
keep the dog in your yard.
It is.
We wouldn't be standing here if
You
that was the
took
case.
the law in your own hand to shoot the
I
dog
absolutely
instead
did.
of calling animal
I
control.
would rather you guys sue me for
That's
that
not
than you
your
guys being
job.
for somebody that the dog
Calm down.
ran
No
on.
one's gonna
Calm
sue
down.
you.
Plain and simple.
What happened on the day that the dog went missing? Because
Okay.
there is a leash law
Right,
in
I
Austin,
understand that,
and
and-
either you keep your dog enclosed in a fence
Right.
or you keep him on a leash.
Right.
Okay.
And okay, I went to work that morning, me and my roommate. I'm gone from about 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I put the dog in the backyard because I don't...
Were you sure he was secure in that backyard,
I'm
knowing that
positive,
you've
'cause
been
I
a little
closed the
flaky
gate,
before?
And it has a lock on it that you can put down. Like I said, I don't want my dog dead. You know, it's like my little boy. So I made sure he wasn't there, and my roommate also did too. We left, came back, and my gate was open. The front gate was open. I have no idea how it was open or anything, but it was open. I looked for my dog for 3 days, walking up and down my streets.
3 days?
Yelling his name out, driving, honking the horn. Went to the lake, swam down the lake to see if he floated down there because the lake was flowing. It was kind of flooded over. Didn't find him. Still no sign. I asked almost every neighbor on the block except for him.
Did you talk to Lewis?
Because I haven't seen him. I asked almost everyone else, and there was no sign of him.
Okay, so
was in the middle of
he
the
never
day.
told you.
No.
So
but
then how did you find out
I stopped
Lewis?
my car when I saw him outside talking to this lady, and I asked him, "Have you seen my dog?" He said, "Yes, I killed him." I
I
freaked
shot
out.
And I
killed
told
him
him
on
the
the
reason
24th
why.
is what he said.
And I explained to him, you know,
That-
and I told you that day, I felt bad about shooting your dog. I didn't want to shoot the
3
dog.
days go by. You don't tell this guy what happens to his dog?
Man, I hardly ever seen the guy.
You can write, right? You went to school. You can say, hey, I shot your
You know,
dog. Call me and I'll
I
explain
took
what
enough
happened.
responsibility of taking care of their dog. I didn't feel like it was my responsibility to also.
Yeah, you
I
definitely
was-
handled it.
Coming up in Christina's court.
911, do you have an emergency?
Pit bull for about the 5th time just chased me and my dog inside my house. He's very vicious. He growls his teeth. He charges you.
Okay, was anybody hurt, sir?
No, but I killed the dog.
Closed captioning for Christina's court brought to you in part by In Christina's court, a neighbor shoots a beloved family pet when it runs loose in the neighborhood. A post-mortem.
Explain to me what happened on that day. Detail.
I was at my barn in the back of my property, getting my stuff ready to go fishing. My little dog was with me, and it's not a very good map, but that's the best I could do.
Bernard, give him the laser. What you do is you go like this. You point it like that. You press on it. It's working right here. It's almost like a gun.
Okay, at the front of the driveway right here, there's a mailbox. That's where I very first saw the pit bull. I was here at the shed with my dog.
That's the main street that you all share in common?
Yes, this West Lakeland is the main street right here. That's where I first saw that day the pit bull at the mailbox. I was back here getting my stuff ready to go fishing. My little wiener dog was with me right here. The pit bull sees us, and he comes to about right in this area right here.
And what's he doing?
He's looking, and he's growling.
He's growling.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he stops.
No,
but he stops.
I know my dog.
He
Just
stops
let
right
him
there.
finish. So he stops right there. What do you do next?
I threw rocks at him, trying to get him off the property.
And what did Capone do?
Capone did nothing.
He just stood there.
Yeah, stand there and still growling.
Did he run at you?
He didn't run. He took 2 or 3 steps. After I threw the second rock, he took 2 or 3 steps toward me, still showing his teeth. So at that point, I walked to my back door, which is right here. Right there. And I set my dog down.
Now, as you're walking to your back door, is the dog chasing you?
No, ma'am, he's not chasing me.
Where is the dog?
The dog is still at this point right.
Do you run to your back door,
No,
or
ma'am,
do
I
you
walked.
casually walk?
I walked, not casually, I'm watching the pit bull as I'm walking to my house.
And what is that pit bull doing?
He's watching me and growling, showing his teeth.
Okay. Are you scared?
I am scared.
Scared for
At
your
that
life?
point, yeah. I'm not going to say that I was scared for my life, but I was scared.
So the dog wasn't coming after you then?
At that point, no.
Okay. And then you go inside. You're safe now, right?
Yeah.
What happens next?
I get my two out of my gun case. I walk back around the edge of the house, and now the dog is standing about right there in front of my construction trailer.
What's he doing?
He's standing there growling.
Still growling?
Still.
Showing his teeth?
Yes, ma'am.
You guys have never heard the story before?
No.
No, ma'am.
As hard as it's going to be for you, I ask that you maintain silence.
Okay.
What happens next?
When I walk back around the edge of the house, he starts growling again.
And what do you do then?
And then I shot him.
How close were you to the dog?
About 20 or 30 yards, I would say.
Where did you shoot him?
I shot him twice in the head, and he stood there and looked at me.
Did you go back inside?
No, ma'am, I did not.
What'd you next?
I shot him 3 times right there, and he died.
You shot him 5 times.
I had to.
You shot him 5 times.
Yes, ma'am?
He's dead.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do next?
I walked straight back into my house. I put my gun up in my gun case, and I immediately called the police, Travis
And
County
what'd you tell the police?
I told them exactly what happened.
What did the police tell you to do?
He informed me to call animal control, and I did. And it was July 24th, 25th.
Any kids around when you were shooting?
No, ma'am. It was 1 o'clock in the day. Between 11 and 1. I don't know the
What
exact
does
time.
animal control tell you to do with the body?
They say take it and put it right beside the street, and they would come get it in 3 to 4 hours
Next to the garbage?
next to the street.
And
Yes,
what
ma'am.
happens then?
After about an hour, I said, you know, I'm not going to let the dog lay in my yard for 4 hours at 100 degrees. I loaded the dog in the back of my truck and took him to the construction dump down the street.
And dumped his body.
Absolutely.
What do you feel when you just hear the story?
I went crazy. That was like my son. Like
No,
if-
right now.
Oh,
What do you feel when you
I
just...
can't believe people like this would even stand on this earth.
do
Someone
you
has
feel,
the
Alan?
gut,
I mean,
cold-blooded, to shoot someone like that.
Coming up in Christina's court.
911, do you have an emergency?
Pit bull for the time just chased me and my dog inside my house. He's very vicious. He growls his teeth. He charges you.
Okay, was anybody hurt, sir?
No, but I just killed the dog.
If you'd like to contact Christina's court, call toll-free 1-800-901-7039 or log on to christinascourt.com. Promotional consideration paid by
Do you have an emergency?
Pit bull for about the fifth time just chased me and my dog inside my house. He's very vicious. He growls his teeth. He charges you.
Okay, was anybody hurt, sir?
No, but I just killed the dog.
Let's talk about animal control law in Austin, Texas. Dangerous dog means a dog that, and you gave me this evidence. This is your evidence, okay? A dangerous dog means a dog that makes an attack or commits an act or acts on a person without provocation or causes bodily injury. Did Capone ever cause bodily injury to anybody?
No, ma'am. As far as I know.
Never.
Because he was not properly restrained, each stray or unrestrained dog will be declared a public nuisance. Each stray or unrestricted dog at the time the dog is a stray or unrestrained shall be seized and impounded by the local animal control. All of this could have been avoided if you called animal control.
It could have been avoided
because
if
you would have called animal control. Yes, and I'm getting to that. If he would have been more responsible,
that's all I'm saying.
This would have never happened, and you wouldn't have had to handle it like you say in your statement. And on top of it, if you wanted to teach him a lesson,
this is after.
But all of this would have been so avoided if you would have just called animal control.
How much responsibility do you want me to put in this case?
And said, listen, this dog is running around my neighborhood. I don't like it. I'm afraid. Come pick it up, right? Because if he failed to maintain his obligation under the law, he could have been charged with a misdemeanor.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the way it should have been done. And they would have. And now let's look at all your affidavits that you're offering as proof. This individual, I won't say her last name, Donna, says unleashed and unaccompanied in our neighborhood. Doesn't say that it chased, it barked, it yelled, it growled, it showed its teeth. Doesn't say anything about being a vicious dog. Your wife's statement is basically your statement. Then there's another statement from an individual named Neva. She said that my husband on numerous occasions ran the dog off by yelling at him. Just by yelling at the dog ran off. That is a vicious dog in my book, gee. And then the lady says, I chased him out with a broom.
Ma'am.
And a broom chased a dog, a vicious pit bull away. Vicious, vicious. The moment you walked into your house, there was no further danger. The fact that you enter your home, you have the foresight to go in and grab a gun and say, I'm going to shoot the dog now. And you go and not shoot him once, not twice, not even 3 times, 5 times. Then you don't even have the decency to tell this kid where his dog is, and you dump it like a piece of garbage. You murdered that dog. That's what you did. It's disgusting what you did. You sued for the value of the dog, which is $950, and the vet bills, right? And the $200 for bereavement. The vet bills I cannot award you because those are things you would have spent anyway on the dog. Based on this completely unreasonable behavior, not only are you going to get your $950 and the $200, I'm also going to give you punitive damages. Because the clear danger in this neighborhood was not your dog, it's him, running loose cannon, violent, with guns. That's a true danger. True danger, and I hope the police is listening to that, because that's the true danger. Therefore, I'm going to award you the $1,150, the $950, the $200, I'm going to give you $1,000 extra. Total of $2,150.
Thank you so much.
All rise. You may be seated.
You don't know what you've done to our family.
Just glad you didn't get sued because it
I
bit
hope
somebody.
God punishes
That's all.
you for what you did.
I would have rather been sued than my dog did.
Whatever.
Judge Cristina has ruled in favor of the plaintiff and has ordered the defendant to pay her $2,150.
He went hunting. He stalked his prey for 2 months, thought about the weapon, lay in wait, and when the opportunity came, he pulled the trigger. Pit bulls can be a problem in the wrong hands, but so can a .22 rifle. I bet he felt great doing it. See you in court.